I'm glad you could stay with us. Let's engage the Ghana AIDS Commission now on its Red Ribbon Month. Like I mentioned, the statistics are worrying. More than 24,000 people have tested positive this year alone, and they include children. What's the Commission doing about it? Well, we will be speaking to the Ghana AIDS Commission. And it's a sponsor of this year's Hits FM Schools Reunion, which is coming off this Saturday. So we'll also be talking about why they've decided to support the schools reunion. Dr. Fred Nanapoku is Director of Technical Services at the Ghana AIDS Commission. Good morning to you, Doc.
Good morning.
Great to have you here.
Yes, good to be here.
Yeah, we've seen the statistics in the papers, we've heard about it on radio. The Commission clearly is worried. Tell us what Red Ribbon Month is about and what you hope to achieve with the activities you've lined up for this month.
Right, thank you very much. Red Ribbon Month is the month of November. And you know, World Day is celebrated on 1st of December. So a month prior to that, we celebrate Red Ribbon Month. And every month of November, we dedicate the time to show solidarity to people who have been affected by HIV, people living with HIV, those who have lost their lives. And then we also rethink, re-strategize, look at how best we can continue, in quotes, the fight against the pandemic. So it is a very good and solemn month. At the same time for re-strategizing and thinking, rethinking, and devising new innovations and strategies to help curb the infection. Right.
So what activities are lined up for the Red Ribbon Month? I know we are way into the month. We have just a few days to end it, but what else should people expect?
Right, so we will continue our media engagement. It's very critical. I mean, as I was talking to a few people a couple of days back, they keep saying that we don't hear of HIV in the media. So we think that it's high time we really intensify the media activities. Both the mass media, as we are here talking, is part of the entire conglomerate of activities. We engage social media, send messages all across, and all that. So that will be intensified in the month of November. Secondly, we are thinking of having a public lecture. In fact, the public lecture is slated for 26th of November. This is this coming Thursday. We have a public lecture to explain some of the issues to the public and to all. In fact, everybody is invited, including Joy FM and all the media houses are invited to this activity. We will also intensify HIV testing services.
Great.
In the various facilities.
It's still free, right?
It's still free. Right. It's still free. And luckily, we now even have self-testing, which comes with a little cost. It's like buying a pregnancy test kit and doing that.
So do we get this from the AIDS Commission, or we can walk into any pharmacy and ask for it?
Currently, we have a few pharmacies and a few social marketing organizations that have them. We're looking at how best to roll out into the entire country and into various pharmacies. But currently, if you get to DKT, you will be able to access some of these self-testing kits. So it is very important that people get to know their status, because when you know your status, whether positive or negative, then you can advise yourself.
Right.
You can go for treatment, which is very effective, highly effective, suppresses the viruses, make you unable to transmit the virus any longer.
Because the viral load reduces?
Very low, very low. It's like that if you have unprotected sex, in that instance, you will not transmit the virus. You become healthy, and you might not even get to the AIDS stage.
Right. So
that these, some time ago when we saw people who are skinny, very ill, with a lot of conditions, on TV and other places, will become a thing of the past. In fact, that is the global agenda, that by the year 2030, we end AIDS.
Right. So for those who may not be aware of this, Doc, just run us through how it works. From the point of having the HIV to AIDS, because someone may not understand that, because we always said, oh, HIV/AIDS. So people think it's just one thing. So just, explain, give us some more explanation on what you mean by that.
So HIV is the virus, and anybody can contract the virus. It's no respect of person. And when you do contract the virus, you might not show any symptoms or signs. In fact, what you might have is in the first few weeks, maybe about 2 weeks, you just have a febrile illness, like trying to catch up malaria or a very little cold or something. And that is it. And everything just vanishes. And the viruses will be in your body, multiplying, destroying your immune system. And it can take years, 5, 10 years without medication, and you not have any other symptoms or signs until the immune system comes so very low to the point where you can no longer fight diseases. Then you catch any kind of illnesses. You have severe diarrhea, you have chest infections, you have skin infections, and then you are getting to the AIDS stage. And the AIDS stage will have 4 stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4, right? And the more severe the condition becomes, then you are going to the other side, yes, of the spectrum. So then you have AIDS stage 4. And even you can get what we call some skin cancers, like Kaposi sarcoma and things like that, lymphadenopathy, generalized lymphadenopathy, and many, many more illnesses.
So what treatment does is that it prevents you from getting to the AIDS stage, but you still may have the virus, but like you said, it will be reduced to the level where it almost becomes insignificant.
Right. So in your bloodstream, the virus will not be detected when you are on the antiretroviral medication. And then you have some of the viruses in the latent states, like a sleeping bulldog, sort of.
Yeah. Okay.
so
that's a nice description, yeah.
Right. So quite a few might be lacking in some of the cells in this latent state, in the cells in your body. And they are inactive, they are not multiplying, they are not causing much havoc.
Okay.
That is what the antiretroviral does. In that stage, you are not you can detect the viruses in your blood, you can transmit the virus, but you still have some of the viruses in your body in the latent stage, yes.
Right. Doc, so I mean, unfortunately, for some time now, we've seen such a rise in infections, and particularly the Commission has expressed worry about the number of children who seem to be getting infections. Some of them mother-to-child transmissions, they were not aware, right. And some of the young people are actually acquiring the viruses through their own activities. Do we know what is driving this rise in numbers?
No, you see, basically, though in recent times we have not really looked at the mode of transmission, what is really actually, basically we know that 80% of infections in most parts of the world, including Ghana, is through through sex. Yeah. Whether it is anal sex, vaginal sex, or whatever, 80%. So what it really means is that people are having sex, unprotected sex, whether vaginal or vaginal, anal vaginal. That is it, unprotected sex. And there are so many reasons why people have sex. When people are happy, right? It's a natural phenomenon with human beings to have sex. So when people are happy, they want to have sex. When people are hard-pressed, under stress, especially the men, they won't really have sex. Ladies, sometimes when they're hard-pressed financially, they want to in quotes, sell some sex and get money, whatever they do to really get something.
Right.
So they'll do transactional sex as a days. So that is the basic underlying factor for increased
So a lot of
HIV.
people are having unprotected sex,
basically. Unprotected sex, and it's like fire. If you have one small bit somewhere, it can catch up the whole entire community or entire...
And is it also the case that these people having unprotected sex also probably have multiple partners, and so that's how the spread is happening? Because if you have two people who have AIDS who are just sticking to themselves, then it wouldn't be spreading
multiple
that much.
Concurrent partnerships or serial partnerships. 6 months or 3 months, I'm with this guy, or I'm with this lady. The next 6 months, we break up. I get another one.
Right.
Then you get another one. So serial partnership is equal or tantamount to having multiple partners. Somebody say, well, I don't really engage in multiple concurrent partnerships. I have only one boyfriend. But you ask yourself, in the past
in about a year, you have about 3 or 4 boyfriends.
Yes,
yeah.
You've had about 3 or 4, 5, and each one of them you have sex with, and you don't know who the other person had been with. So then it becomes something that is multiplying, and then if there is an infection somewhere, it just keeps spreading from one person to the other. It's just unfortunate. So what we preaching, I don't know, we are not preacher men, but what we're saying is that naturally, there are some people who have a tendency of having sex. I mean, like, their hormones are over the roof, right? We, as a commission, are not religious bodies to
You're not interested in morality. You leave that to the church.
Yes. We basically want to come in. But what we're saying is, protect yourself. If you are in that category of person who have a difficult controlling or have a very strong sexual edge and it's always on the, so you just have to protect yourself. How do you do that? Simple, straightforward. Use of condoms consistently and correctly. It is not about today you use, tomorrow you don't use, because you don't know who. It's not written on the forehead of anybody that, hey, this person is HIV positive. And as I said, from the earlier on, you can have HIV
and not show
5, 10 years,
symptoms.
15 years, nothing. So even as I'm sitting, I might be positive, but nobody knows. Unless I go do the test and tell you, or you do the test on me. So we're saying that correct, consistent use of condoms is one of the most effective way of prevention.
There are those who are advocating for free distribution of condoms to young people especially. Is the commission looking at doing that?
That is fine. We do that.
Do you have the funds for that?
We do that. We have program condoms, which are free.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that at the 26th of November, when we have our old school youth reunion, we'll be able to distribute some free condoms. And I mean, distributing to young active couples or young active youth, it's okay. It's good, and we'll be doing that. In fact, we have been doing that, and we'll continue doing that. The only challenge sometimes is the lack of adequate funding for that. So we don't really have the condoms in the system as much as we want. The free condoms, not condoms in general.
Yeah. So there are those that are for sale in pharmacies and other outlets.
Lot of new, innovative design condoms that are ultra thin, studded, right? Flavored, different. In fact, ebony condoms are available. DKT condoms are available. A lot of them. So everybody, please. You have no excuse to not to protect yourself.
All right. So tell us more about your partnership with the Hits FM Schools Reunion. Beyond the possible distribution of free condoms, what else do you want to achieve with this particular partnership?
It's a very wonderful platform. The School Reunion is a very wonderful platform to reach a lot of people, youth, adults. In fact, I'll meet some of my mates out. Yes, and I mean you catch up with a few friends as it is. So we believe that that platform is great, and to send messages across to everybody to protect yourself. I mean, if you can't, just be safe. We will also ensure that there is HIV testing available. Free testing will be available, and I'm sure DKT and other social marketing companies will bring along some self-test kits for those who really want it. Commercial condoms, which have different flavors, chocolate flavor, strawberry, vanilla, everything.
Interesting. Right, Doc. So for those who may want to do the self-testing, because we also know that one of the reasons people shy away from testing is the stigma attached to being HIV positive, and the fact that they wouldn't want somebody to know. So once you do the test yourself and you find out that you are positive, what do you do from there?
No. The test kits have information.
Okay.
Great. There is information pack with a test kit. Tell you what to do, who to contact. There's a contact number you can call.
Fantastic.
Talk to 9 and talk to service providers, get counseling, show you where you can even get the ARVs. In fact, there are more than 600.
Are they still free?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. They are still free, causing a lot of financial burden on the government and our partners. But there's nothing we can do now. But I hope that that is why we are preaching that, yes, we are preaching that people should really protect themselves, because when you're able to protect yourself, you save a lot of money.
And you even, help yourself live longer and not have to deal with sometimes the emotional
the burden
stress
of taking pills every day, every day for the rest of your life. It's not an interesting thing at all. So we encourage people to protect themselves.
Interesting, Doc. So, just run us through again. So, on Saturday, the 26th of November, the school's reunion is happening, but you mentioned that on Thursday, which is the 24th, you'll be having a lecture.
Right.
And
at the International Conference Center
to commemorate Red Ribbon Month.
Right.
Okay, so...
And then we will have the World AIDS Day itself on 1st of December.
Great.
And we will have that at the forecourts of the State House.
Okay, and what exactly, can people also just walk in there and do free testing?
It is open to the public.
Okay.
World AIDS Day is for everybody. We are showing solidarity with people who have been infected. We are preaching about prevention of HIV. We are preaching that if you are positive,
take your drugs.
Take your drugs. Right?
Even if you are praying for a miracle, still take your drugs.
Certainly. If you get malaria, you pray, all right, but you take your anti-malaria. It's a similar situation. And then we are saying that protect yourself. There is the condom. Currently, we have the pre-exposure prophylaxis, which are also medications like taking Daraprim for malaria in pregnancy, or you're traveling to an endemic environment, you take some medicine to protect you from catching malaria. Similarly, there is that for HIV.
But is that
currently with the high grade, we are giving to the high risk groups.
Like which people, doctors?
No. This is for sex workers, men who have sex with men, discordant couples.
Okay, so this is available. I'm just trying to understand.
Right.
This is what available at the commission or in pharmacies or prescribed by doctors?
It's a program medicine that is being given out.
Okay.
So in some program managers have it.
Okay.
Like civil society.
And it's taken before every intercourse, or?
Right. There's a schedule that you have to take.
Okay.
7 days prior to engaging in a risk behavior.
Okay.
And then you continue. And if you want to stop, I think about 7 days, you take it and then you can stop.
Interesting. Right. Very interesting one there.
Yeah.
Right. So Dr. Fred Anapoku is Director, Technical Services, Ghana AIDS Commission, and we've been talking about the unexciting statistics we are recording, seeing that a few years back, we were on the road to getting to that point where we could have, by now, been recording very minimal infections of HIV and AIDS, but unfortunately the trend changed and it went upward, and now we are seeing such a rise in the number of infections. The good news is that testing is free. It is better to know your status so that you can advise yourself, as Dr. Nanapoku said. It is also good so that if you need any medical interventions, you get it as soon as possible, and you don't have to graduate to the AIDS stage where it becomes almost impossible to treat and you are basically just waiting to cross over to the other side. So do take advantage of the Red Ribbon Month. You can visit us at the Hits FM Schools Reunion on Saturday, the 26th of November. The Ghana AIDS Commission will be there offering free testing. Also, treatment is free. So once you test positive, they will help you out. Do you offer counseling services? Because sometimes just the thought of being HIV positive, and I've heard stories. For some people, it's not so much about the disease, because we know, like we've been told, that once you're at HIV stage, you treat it, you're fine. It's about the feeling of betrayal, because I've heard stories of women who literally break down in the doctor's office because she's been faithful to her partner. She's never had a partner outside her marriage. And so this is almost like, okay, my husband definitely brought this from somewhere. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
where is this coming from? I have been faithful. And then the feelings of betrayal, mistrust begin to weigh down on them. How are your counseling services offered?
Right. There is pre-test counseling and then the post-test counseling. These are done in the facilities. The National AIDS Control Program, they have a lot of counselors within the facilities, the ERT centers, the PMTCT centers. And in fact, some persons living with HIV are counselors themselves, and then they do counseling.
Okay.
Yes, because peer counseling it's a little more effective in most circumstances. So persons living with HIV are counselors. It is done in the facilities. And then we have some individuals who can be reached within our communities. They are persons living with HIV. They have received training, they have received orientation, they know what to say, what not to say, how to support you. And then even the persons living with HIV, the network of persons living with HIV have support groups that give support to people. But I know that most people will initially won't be comfortable joining such support groups and things like that. So we want to, I mean, just be free, call on us. We will link you up with an individual or a group of people that can support you to overcome your stigma. And as you rightly said, sometimes self-stigma even kills more than the disease itself. You blame yourself. You think you have done something wrong, or you have not done anything. So why should this happen to me? You move right down into the depression, which could even harm you more than the virus itself. So please come out and then seek counseling from our counseling centers, from the Rich Hospital right here.
Okay.
And there are about 600, 700 facilities that gives ARVs, the antiretroviral drugs, and all scattered all over the country. You don't need to die in isolation. You don't at all.
Life moves on even after HIV infection.
I mean, it's an infection. Actually, it's an infection. I mean, like it's like a common cold, right? Excuse me to say, COVID kills faster. It's more fatal than HIV as it is, right? And we lived with it. People lived with it. So don't stigmatize yourself. Don't allow anybody to stigmatize, and don't, as an individual, stigmatize people who have HIV, because you might not even know how come they got their infection, whether from mother to child, whether through blood transfusion. You don't know. Even a common accident where people get injured.
Okay.
And then there are exchange of blood. I mean,
like contact body to body.
Carrying people to the facilities can lead somebody to get, even when you go to your barber. Right? And he doesn't use sterilizer. Sometimes they put the machines in the sterilizer. It's not on. The UV light that is supposed to kill any virus. It's not on, but he just
pulls it out
as if it's really under sterilization. So, and you don't know how come somebody had it, maybe through blood transfusion. So, in fact, there is no basis.
Just don't judge people.
There's no basis for it. A single act, you might be the saint of whatever, right?
And you can still get AIDS.
And then you can still get it either through your mother, or even a single act that you had with somebody you thought was a very good friend, who looks innocent like myself.
Who was a saint like you? Two saints.
Right?
Yeah.
Can land you in having the virus. So, I mean, no basis.
Yeah. All right. So basically what we are saying this morning is get tested, do not stigmatize against people living with HIV, and please get treatment when you find out that you're positive or a person living with HIV. Also protect yourself. Like Doc says, if you cannot control your sexual drive, just protect yourself. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we'll be following up on your activities with the Hits FM Schools reunion and also your lecture, which is coming up on Thursday. Dr. Ferdana Puku is Director, Technical Services, Ghana AIDS Commission, and we've been talking about Red Ribbon Month. Now, the Planting for Food and Jobs Market, I'm sure by now you know about that. It started at the ministries, moved on, and now it's at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. We'll be bringing you more on this shortly. Please stay.